One of the most important parts of writing a narrative is making sure that you pace your story appropriately. And by pacing, that means that some events you're going to spend more time kind of looking at and kind of stringing out, where other ones, well, maybe they're not so interesting, so you're going to spend less time talking about them. So for example, if we're looking at our story, Ira Sleeps Over, I've created this pacing guide for that story. Our exposition is kind of very brief. We're talking about Ira going to the sleepover at Reggie's. And then a big part of the story is Ira sitting there going back and forth, figuring out whether or not he should take Tata, and then taking into account Reggie's plans, and then going back and forth some more about whether or not he should take Tata. You'll notice that the boxes, not only do they get longer to indicate that I'm going to spend more time talking about them, but it also gets taller. That means there's a little bit more excitement, a little bit more emotion to that part of the story. So once Ira gets to the sleepover, he doesn't really spend as much time talking about that sleepover, so the box is narrower, but you can see it's a little bit taller as well because he's a little bit more excited now that he's finally there. And then you can see this one right here, finding out about Reggie's teddy bear. That box is the tallest because it is also the climax of the story, right? So it's supposed to be the most exciting part of the story. And then you can see the boxes start to get shorter again. After he goes to get Tata, it doesn't take him very long to do that. And then our resolution is right here. Ira goes to sleep holding tight to Tata. So the width of the box shows us how much time about in our story we're going to spend talking about that. And so you can think of like this, all of these ones right here are the rising action part of our story. And you can see that by the heights of the boxes getting a little bit taller. And then this box right here is our climax. And these ones right here are falling action and our resolution. So you can see the storytelling arc in the story pacing, okay? So when you're doing this for your story, think about which sections are kind of the funniest or the most interesting. You're going to want to spend some time drawing those out. Think about your climax. It's supposed to have some emotion. It's supposed to be a peak, right? It's supposed to be exciting. Your reader needs to know that you're making a choice between one thing or another, or that the rest of the story, that's the deciding point for it. It's the tipping point. It'll go one way or the other. All right, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make an example of a story pacing for my story using the storytelling arc that I've already shown you guys. You can use that as an example for your story pacing as well.